All right, thanks, Janae. He does not want to be defined by losing his cool with Panthers cornerback Josh Norman and earning that one-game suspension. Odell Beckham Jr. spoke today for the first time since the league handed down its justice. Our Giants expert, Ralph Vacchiano, was at the Meadowlands.
Odell Beckham just spent the most miserable Sunday of his football career sitting home and watching the Giants get blown out in Minnesota while he served his one-game suspension. And now he returns to the Giants sounding very much like a man who has learned his lesson and one who is extremely apologetic for ever losing control of his emotions on the field.
It was a poor display of sportsmanship and just not something you'd want to put on film. So I don't think I'm going to change the way that I play. I think that I'm going to change the actions that were on the field that Sunday. It's not what we should be doing. It's not what I would want to represent the Giants with. Like I said, most importantly, it's not something I want the kids looking up to and learning from me that way. That's definitely not what I'll put out there for him.
I expect the fact that he's learned a great deal from this situation, and that he will have taken a little bit of addressing himself in terms of how that happened, and plan on doing a better job.
Let's go play football. So I think that's a mindset. I think he's learn from that. It's not something that was a recurring theme. It's a one-time deal. So I think he's on from it.
Beckham refused to discuss any of the pregame incidents against the Panthers that might have sparked his rage. When asked if he was threatened with a baseball bat, he called that irrelevant. And when asked if he was taunted with gay slurs, he said, "Words are just words." The Giants certainly hope he feels that way, because one thing they're very certain of is that teams from now on are going to target Beckham even harder than they did before, feeling very certain that they can knock him off his game. With the Giants, Ralph Vacchiano, SNY.
And Ralph, Jason Pierre-Paul will have more surgery to fix the hand he injured during that fireworks accident in July. The defensive end says he could have more than one procedure to improve the flexibility in the middle finger so he can eventually lose that club he's been playing with. The veteran says he didn't have surgery during the season so he could return to the team.
I feel like half of it is my fault because, most of the games that we probably lost, I feel like we could have won. If I was there, we probably would have won those games. Well, it is what it is. You got to move on from it. But, you can't sit around and wait for one person. Next man got to step up. So, I'm here now, and I'm doing the best I can to, help this team win games. Hopefully next year, if I'm here, get in and get rolling.